All right, so I've had this discussion a lot with my wife. She's a vegetarian. She endorses vegetarianism with my children. Honestly, I think if we could start eating insects, it would probably cut down on a lot of the methane gases released by cows. Because from what I understand, cows actually produce, a third of it? Something in that general area, and it sounds right, so it must be. I think that the problem is that we don't have any sense of portion control. And if, as Americans especially, we could get a handle on our consumption levels, we could probably cut the emissions from eating meat to a degree that would be sustainable. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi. So I think eating meat is worse for the environment because if you, I don't have the statistics off the top of my head, but if you do basic research, very basic research, you can find that much more water and natural resources go into producing meat and getting it out there and packaging it and everything. So much more land and water goes into that than producing plants, and we use up so much usable land for agriculture. We could use that for a bunch of different crops and stuff, but instead we're using it for animals who use the land to graze and all that type of stuff. So basically, long story short, eating meat is worse in the environment.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so people think about being a vegetarian, and that causes that needs agriculture, right? But do you remember the dirty 30s in 1930s when there was the Dust Bowl in the United States? See, that happened because of an overproduction of agriculture. But if we had cows and we could eat meat even more, then that wouldn't happen. And what's regarded scientifically as the worst man-made environmental problem of our history, we can prevent that by eating meat.
So in response to eating meat and how it affects the Dust Bowl or whatever, I would say that agriculture is also the reason the Dust Bowl occurred is because the agriculture that was grown is to feed the cows. So we need a bunch of grain and a bunch of water to feed the cows in order to, grow them for our consumption. And therefore, the Dust Bowl wouldn't have happened if we just focus on growing, because we don't need that many grains for people. We just need a lot more for cows. That's why the Dust Bowl happened.
Okay, so I think that people should eat meat because God put animals on the earth to eat meat.